Welcome everyone to today's Shotsukihoyo service for the month of April. Reverend Dennis Fujimoto will be officiating today's service and delivering our Dharma talk for today. May we all stay with Kasho for quiet reading. Sensei will ring the bell to begin and to end this reading. When we see the golden sun shining from above, we are mindful of the Buddha's love. Over us all, his pure compassion sheds its steadfast glow. By his doctrine, wisdom's way to show. When we see the silver moon gleaming in the night, we are mindful of Amida's guiding light. With the Namo to guide us as we live our lives out of sorrow into joy and light.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida.
Please rise for the opening gatha, which is the sheet that was handed out to you this morning. And Kent would like to give a little explanation for the song.
So in preparation for the BWA conference that's coming up next month, this potentially is our last time to practice this song. Remember on the bottom of, now all the measures have numbers on them. So if you look in the bottom of the first page, there's a couple of areas where it's where you don't sing. And then when you go to the second page, the top line, measure number 30, it's the Portuguese line. When you get to the second line, starting measure number 35, there are 4 measures where I just play and you don't sing. When you get down to measure number 45, which is 3 from the bottom, that's the Japanese section. And then starting on measure 50, which is the next to the last line, the song goes a little slower. And the word heart, that's on measure number 52, is a long one. And then that finishes out the song. So this may be the last time we practice this. So we did do it once before. Hopefully you'll remember how to sing this one. And there are copies in the back on the Osai-sen box if you don't have your copy.
Please remain standing for the three treasures out of the purple book on page 8. Art is to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not realize the truth in this life, when will it be realized? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth.
I take refuge in the Buddha. May we absorb ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we live in harmony in the great assembly as disciples of Buddha and be free from all hindrances, becoming units of true accord, the life of harmony, and the spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness.
Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and to receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida.
Our Shotsukihoyo service is held in observance of those family members, relatives, and friends we have lost during the month in which it is observed. The names of the Shotsukihoyo honorees for the month of April will now be read. Please, all of those family members and friends observing April Shotsukihoyo, please come forward during the reading of these names. Mayu Furuta, Iwazo Hamamoto, Suye Hayashi, Grace Lee, Kumaki Matsuda, Shinsuke Morita, Toshiro Morita, Hatsuno Okura, Ellen Fumi Sako, Suetaro Shimizu, Yukino Shimizu, Toyotaro Sueoka, Kazuboro Takao, Minosuke Watanabe, Suitsu Yamasaki, Tomoye Ito, Tomiko Hayakawa, James Murakami, Brad Honda, Yuriko Furusho, Yai Furusho, Miki Sugimoto, Tari, Florence Kawaoka, Frank Noguchi, Leanne Yoshiko Maoki, Lily Okamoto, George Okamoto, Bill Takao, Robert Hall, George Masao Masada, Sawami Shimizu, Jip Yokoyama, Rose Furuzawa, Chikayo Masuoka, Isaburo Kimura, Sam Shigeru Tsurumoto, Eiichi Yamamoto, Tsune Matsuda, Eileen Fujimoto, Todd Iwamoto, and Hiroko Abiko. Sensei will now begin with Sambujo, the 3 respectful callings on page 24 of the Purple Book. This will be followed with sutra chanting on page 103, Amida Kyo, just the first half. So page 24, Sambujo, and 103, Amida Kyo.
Today, on the occasion of the Shotsuki service for the month of April, members of our temple families have reverently come before Amida Buddha in memory of their beloved. With deepest reverence and thankfulness for the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of Amida, we reaffirm the three homages. Namo kie Butsu, Namo kie Ho, Namo kie So. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Please repeat the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida.
Shotsukihoyo
百式百個微妙高血者利法国ら国土領重尿税空六小分空者利法地国土上差天略黄金二時昼夜六時入位まだらけ東国修上上位小丹各位英国上修妙慶空用他法十万六仏作為伝統王国凡事行業者利法国蘭国土上重尿税空六小番武士者利法異国上修十奇妙雑式市長百国法務者利家領賓が無名市長税商州長昼夜六時水和下音法年少五分五力七余分圧勝道分尿税東法行動修上門税本理解質念仏年法年祖者利法尿物一市長実税財法少々小医者が異部国土無産幕衆者利法公部国土小無産幕老子尿破教右実税商州長大税阿弥陀仏抑量法音声ル変化少佐者利法異部国土未部水路小法五十九法ラモ水味妙本異妙百千十百同時空差門税恩者大事年上念仏念法念祖死心者利法
Today's Dharma message will be delivered by Reverend Fujimoto.
Namando, namando, namando. Good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to be here. It's always special to be here as part of the Shotsuki service and to see all the families come up in Oshoko, honoring the people they have lost during the month of April this time. So it's always a touching thing. So I appreciate that very much. So in the next couple of weeks, we are gearing up in Alameda we have this Carving the Divine film that is going to be showing, and we have gallery artwork that's been on display for this past month. And so just yesterday, there have been a few Saturdays where I've been able to be at the gallery to greet people as they come in, and a few people were able to come yesterday. And when the group is smaller, I have the opportunity to tell them about each of the artists that have been able to participate in this show. And each of them, 5 artists, have been participants in our BCA virtual art exhibit that's been going on for the past 3 years. So through that connection, I've been able to meet and get to know these artists and to invite them to participate in this particular show. And so because of all these things going on, with art in mind, the film in mind, had me thinking about things that I've been able to go through in the past. And when I was at the Idaho, Oregon Buddhist Temple, we had a Hoakai in Boise. So Boise is the closest large city, and it's about an hour east from Ontario, Oregon. So regularly we would go out to Boise and meet with this Boise group. And so through that we had connections in the Boise area, and partly because of that, come to learn about other Buddhist groups in the Boise area. So there would be smaller groups. Ontario Temple is quite large in comparison. So they might have smaller groups like a Zen group or a Tibetan group, Vipassana meditation groups, and they might have 8 to 12 people in their groups, and they would meet here or there or at someone's house. And so maybe 8 or 9 different groups that we had come to find that had their homes in the Boise area. So I always think it's a good idea to make friends, and I would try to meet them and introduce myself, that I'm from Idaho, Oregon Temple, but maybe it'd be nice to have these groups get together. And a major celebration in the Buddhist community is Wesak. And so this celebrates the birth, enlightenment, and the death of Shakyamuni Buddha. Here in our tradition, we do those separately, right? Hanamatsuri, the birth, is coming up real soon. And then Bodhi Day is the enlightenment. Nirvana Day is the passing of the historical Buddha. So we have these on separate dates, but most Buddhist communities observe all those 3 at once and call that Wesak. And so I suggested to each of these groups, why don't we do something special and have a public service, ceremony, and just open it to the public, and each of our groups can display our literature and invite people to come and participate, and maybe we can get to know each other, and we can spread more of the word that we have all these different Buddhist traditions and groups in the Boise area. So they thought it was a good idea, and so we did this for a number of years. Along the way, I encouraged them, why don't we call this group the American Buddhist Consortium? So it would be ABC, right? And so we would be listed prominently and easy to find. So we called ourselves the American Buddhist Consortium, and we would meet regularly to plan for this Wesak celebration each year. It was a lot of fun. There would be different groups, and one of the larger groups would be these they had a Chinese monastery. Chinese nuns were there, and their English language was kind of limited, so they didn't participate much in the planning, but they would come on that occasion, and they would all come, not kind of marching in. They would all have the same robes on and look very, very orderly and organized, and so it was always quite impressive to see them. They were always so gracious to be a part, and the smaller groups were a little bit ragtag, and donations would be $5, $10 here and there, $20. The monastery would give in an envelope very significant amount to support our efforts. So we had this going on, and one of the Tibetan followers, they didn't participate so much in the Wesak, but I became aware of them, and one person in particular seemed like very well connected to the Tibetan community in Tibet and having funds available to her. So she would kind of be in the middle of organizing when the Dalai Lama came and had sessions at Sun Valley, Idaho, and he was there for a number of days. He had a group, and they would bus in all these different clergy of different religions, Buddhist groups, Christian groups, Jewish groups. We all pile onto the bus and go up to Sun Valley, and he would have a session with us. He had another session with business owners. He had another session with education, people involved with the schools, and another session with politicians. And so it was a big to-do that he was there for like 3-4 days in Sun Valley, and all these different groups were invited to come up, and this person was involved with that. They also had a tour of Buddhist relics that she would help to coordinate, and relics are the remains of Buddhist disciples that have had passed away, were cremated, and it is said that when an enlightened person is cremated, it's not just ashes, but these look like little amber pellets that are left. And so when the historical Buddha passed away, these were the relics. And so when you go on top of the Buddhist temple in San Francisco, they have the stupa and these types of relics, the remains of enlightened Buddhist leaders are there. So they had a tour of these relics, and they were all encased and very carefully exhibited. The remains of Shariputra and different other disciples of the Buddha that we read about in some of our sutras. So this is another thing they were involved in. And finally, one of the things, art related, they invited all these, quite a few monks, maybe more than 12, 15, 18 monks came from Tibet, and they made these sand mandalas. Okay. Has anyone seen a sand mandala? A few people, yeah. So the mandala is kind of a picture that they draw, and it's kind of a tool for gaining wisdom and compassion. And it's said to house, there would be a deity similar to Amida Buddha here, but a drawing of the deity at the center, and disciples and teachings, and all of these are very colorfully displayed. So initially, when the master would select which mandala setting they would use, and then the monks would gather to these chants and blessings, and then they would draw, very meticulously draw, detailed picture of this mandala. And so once the drawing is done, they get all these multicolored, different colored sand, right? Millions of grains of sand, different colors. So if they're doing the robes of a disciple, it would be such a color, And if there were a green setting, the green sand would be placed. If there's water flowing, the blue water would be placed, and just so meticulously. So they would take turns, and this would be their meditation, to be creating this artwork, and using like feathers, so meticulously moving the sand, so they would be just perfect. And it would take days and days for them to do this, working together. It would take a break, and other monks would come in and take over. And so you could come and visit as they were doing this. Maybe initially they're doing the drawing, and you leave, come back in a day or two, and they might be doing the chanting, they might be moving the sand. And so it takes quite a few days for them to do this and to accomplish this, working on this mandala. So it's called a sand mandala, and unique to Tibetan Buddhism. We don't do that here. Right? So it takes the drawings done from memory, quite a few days, millions of grains of colored sand. And so they say that the mandala sends out healing energy, positive energy to the environment, to the people involved, to the people they're connected with, to the people who come and see all of this. So once they finish this very elaborate, precise sand drawing, then they sweep it all together and flush it away into running water. And you would think, wow, what a waste that they did all this work and they just, but this is impermanence, right? Their understanding, their appreciation, their realization of impermanence in this world, in this life. So even though it's perfect thing of a mandala, I mean, they're huge, sometimes 5 feet kind of a thing, and the monks are working on different sides of it, different parts of it, taking turns. This set leaves, another set of monks come, and all of this is going on. And so this practice of creating art to express and to explore the spirituality is something we see through the sand mandala in Tibetan Buddhism and other ways in other forms of Buddhism. And in part, slightly different, but to come to the film. I know some of you are coming to the film in the gallery in a couple of weeks, and to take that in. The film is about Japanese sculptors who create statues of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas that are placed in Buddhist temples in Japan. So it's kind of like a dedicated craft learned from master to disciple, and how this has gone on. So it's a very intriguing film. And then the artwork downstairs is just contemporary Buddhist art, but some degree that as you create your artwork, you're connecting to the infinite, connecting to your spirituality. And there was one description of clay, like clay, to know clay as a potter, distinguishing that from knowing clay as a geologist. So a different way of learning and studying. And so the potter is more like the artist, to be in there, to make that a part of his life, to create something, rather than to learn about the properties and the characteristics of clay. It's actually working it. And so this is a different type of learning, a different type of interaction with the world that the mandala makers and the artists do, and explore their connection with the infinite, with Amida, with Namo Amida Butsu. So a different way of learning, a different avenue of realizing your spiritual journey. So I think it's very interesting, kind of things we don't always think about, and just a different avenue of how to look at art, how to evaluate, the time. Sometimes we hear someone younger who wants to get into art, and they'll be told by someone older, wiser, their parents will tell them, but don't you want to go into a profession where you make some money, right? And to kind of diminish their drive to develop their artistic capacity. And it's like, let's get real with life. How are you going to live making your artwork? And so that it gets pushed to the side, but at the same time, there are values there are avenues there that we don't always recognize. When we look at our normal world, we elevate different kinds of values, and those different values are not necessarily the means to explore our connectedness to the infinite, to Amida, to what spiritual grounding is. So this is kind of a commercial. I'm hoping more people here can come to the art gallery. The movies at 2 o'clock, and afterwards at the closing reception, all the artists will be there, their families will be there, and people from not only the different temples, but from the community will be coming to see the artwork, some to see the film, some to see the art, and some seeing both. So the film tickets are sold at the Rhythmics Cultural Works. The gallery is no charge. So this is what's happening in a couple of weeks, and whether you come or not, I hope you are become open to see light in a different fashion, to see the adornments of our temple in a different fashion. Even this whole building, this is artwork here that we're able to enjoy and feel comfortable in this setting as we come and to explore our Nembutsu path. So this is my message for today. Please join me. Join me in Gassho. I'll close. Namo Amida. Namo Amida. Namo Amida. Namo Amida. Namo Amida. Thank you.
Thank you, Sensei. Now, the closing gatha will be out of this white book that we have, and Kent will also give us a brief introduction on that side. It's on page 42. 40. Page 40.
So this is the second song that's going to be at the BWA conference that we're going to have in a few weeks in May. This is the Asoka no Sono song, and there is an introduction to this song that gets played every time you sing a verse. So between the first and second verse, there is an introduction part where you don't sing. That's just the introduction to the music. We're only doing the Japanese and the English verse of line 1. So you see the verses are numbered 1, 2, and 3. We're only doing the very first one, number 1, but we're doing both the Japanese and the English part of that song. So hopefully you'll be able to follow this, although for some of you, you've probably never sung this before. But we are going to be doing this for the BWA conference, and this may be the only time you get to practice it. You can go ahead and stand up.
page 40 of the White Book. Thank you. The music is very pretty, and I didn't hear very many voices. This will conclude today's Shotsukihoyo service for the month of April. And we thank everyone for attending today. And thank you to Reverend Fujimoto for taking the time to be with us, which we greatly appreciate. To Daryl Yagi for setting up the Onanji and for ringing the concho. And of course our organist, Dr. Ken Matsuda. And for the April Toban, for the flowers and offerings for the Onanji. The videography and editing by Tai. I don't see Tai today. Oh, Tan. Sorry, Tan. Thank you. Thank you. So, thank you again, everyone, and please join us for light refreshments in the social hall next door. And the next service will be Hanamatsuri on Sunday. So we hope to see everyone there. Thank you.